Question: do you have an issue with accountability? Are you worried about getting people to do what it is they say that they're going to do? Stay tuned, and I have a few tips that might be able to help you out. And hey, if you happen to have some issues with being held accountable, maybe these can apply to you too. Stay tuned. How's it going, you guys? My name is Robert Anderson, and I am a motivational speaker and social media influencer, and I welcome you to Full Armor Motivation. Now, you might be asking yourself, what is accountability anyway? In its simplest terms, it means responsibility. Being responsible, taking ownership over a thing that's supposed to happen. Okay, so the purpose of this video is to talk about how we're going to hold people accountable to the things that they say that they're going to do. But before we do that, we're going to go over 5 reasons why some people may not be performing their absolute best. So first and foremost, we talk about complacency. In other words, it's the person being too lax or comfortable in their current position, whether it's their living situation, their finances, at the job, maybe in other areas of their life. And while they're not happy, they've gotten too comfortable with the idea of trying to challenge themselves to do something else. I have a select number of individuals that I've encountered throughout my years at my job that complain about what it is they do. They complain about the company, they complain about the people, and they complain about everything under the sun. But just because of where they are, the money they make, or whatever the situation is, maybe they're too afraid to move on or try something challenging or do something different, that they just stay where they are. They remain stuck, but they still complain. So there's a lack of gratitude in that area as well. The next one is people skills. I mean, this goes to show that, you can work in an area of customer service, which is basically like 99% of jobs out there where you're interacting with the public, but you don't know how to talk to people. And this is a huge deal, depending on where you are. If you interact with people 99 to 100% of the time on your job, you have to know how to interact with the general public. There's certain things that you can say, certain things that you can't say. And if you don't know how to use your words to get around dealing with certain interactions or dealing with certain people, especially those difficult people, even those that you may even happen to work with, then that could pose as a problem with you having a good day at work, and down the line, maybe possibly getting a promotion or even a better job. The next one I want to touch on maybe is competency. When you talk about, okay, maybe don't know how to talk to people all that well. Maybe you might be too comfortable. Maybe you're not that comfortable. You're actually looking for something to change you or challenge you. But the question is, are you any good at what it is that you do? If you're in sales, do you know your product or your service? If you're in another job where you're in, I guess you could say, like, you're interacting with the public and you have to answer questions, are you necessarily good at being able to answer those questions? If you have to perform a certain duty or a function, are you any good at that? Do you require extra coaching or mentoring? Do you require other advice from whatever it is that you're trying to do? The next one, work ethic. So you might be good at what you do, you might know how to talk to people, and you might not be complacent at your job, you might not be too comfortable, but how hard are you working? Like, you might know all these things, you might be able to cover all of these steps, but what do you do in the event that you say you want something else, but you're not really working that hard for it? Then you have to ask yourself that question, or have the individual ask themselves that question. What are you doing to prove that you're worth what it is that you're getting paid? And if you feel like you're not worth your weight in gold, then maybe you should put forward more effort. And last but not least, this is one that I've struggled with for quite some time, is identity. I think in this instance, I'm going to refer to it as being doubtful, casting self-doubt, that negative self-talk that you have inside your head that says, I don't know if I'm qualified to give this information. I don't know if I am the right person for the job. I'm not sure if people will believe me, maybe because I don't have a fancy degree. I didn't spend a lot of time in school. I don't have a lot of experience in this particular field. And the truth of the matter is, when you actually get started and you gain the experience, then you gain the experience. And those are things that you can build upon. Starting out might be a little bit daunting, but there's just a matter of not questioning whether or not you are capable, you are qualified. And then, of course, if you don't feel like you are capable or qualified, you can always gain the skill, gain the knowledge, and talk to people who can assist you and guide you through the process. Okay, so now we're going to go over 5 steps or 5 things you can do to make sure you hold people accountable to what it is that they say that they're going to do. First and foremost, don't be afraid to hold people accountable, especially when they ask you to hold them accountable to make sure they do certain things. If, for example, I tell you as an individual, let's just say I'm talking to you personally, whoever you are. I'm talking to you, I say, hey, do me a favor. I need you to hold me accountable to the fact that I say I'm going to reach out to 5 decision makers within my field because I'm looking to get some speaking engagements. Or I'm looking at getting up early in the morning at 5 a.m. to prepare some material for social media. Or I need to get up every day and run a mile. I don't run, but I get up every day and run a mile, to get up and exercise to make myself more productive, as opposed to staying up late and just being up late for the sake of being up late, starting my day late. I need to be held accountable on these things. Now, again, of course, if I don't ask, then you know that, okay, I say that I have this goal, then you can say, okay, well, I'm going to hold you to it. But now this is an even bigger issue if it adds another level to it. If the person that's that you're holding accountable to a thing says, hold me accountable, make sure I do this thing, because that adds an extra layer to it. So they want the accountability, so that you just have to make sure that you ask the questions that challenge them to make sure that, okay, next time if they ask me, I want to be able to give them a good answer because I don't want to disappoint. The next one, question certain statements and excuses. If people are shifting blame onto someone else, make sure you find out exactly what it is they could do to respond. Maybe don't give them the answer. Maybe you could probably draw it out of them so they feel as though they're more responsible because they know the answer within themselves. If they're shifting the blame onto their children or to someone at work or something else, you can always ask them, okay, so what do we do to rectify the issue? How do you solve the problem? 10% of everything that happens in life are things that happen to you, and 90% of it is how you respond. So if you choose to respond negatively to an issue, then that's going to affect how you go about the rest of your day, rest of your week, and so on. Also, if an answer requires clarification, for example, if you ask them, okay, so how many people did you email today? And they give you a very general answer, or they round numbers, then ask for clarification. Say, okay, well, you said about 4 people or about 9 or 10 people. Clarify for me. How many people exactly? The next one you want to do is make sure you clarify your expectations, or clarify the expectations of the person. So if they have certain expectations that they set for themselves, and then they ask you, hey, hold me accountable because I need to reach out to 3 people by the end of this week, make sure you do what it is that you can to say, okay, well, these are the expectations you have for yourself. I'm going to expect you to reach out to me and tell me, hey, that I've done it by this day. Or I'm going to reach out to you and I'm going to ask you, okay, well, you said you're going to talk to this amount of people, whether it's 3 people, whether it's 30 people, and I'm going to expect a report back that says you hit your number, or maybe you've exceeded your number. The next one I want to say is a huge one for me. Make sure you coach and encourage others. Now, some people can deal with the possibility of not feeling like, they have people on their team. Maybe they don't know what it is they're doing. They struggle in certain areas. So it's always important that you make sure that you do whatever it is that you can on your part. Now, if you happen to be the person's coach or their mentor, then yes, it would be ideal to say, hey, okay, do you need some help in some areas? Are you struggling in certain areas? How can I guide you through the process? Now, if you're not, if you just happen to be a significant other or a best friend or coworker, then maybe you can encourage the person to continue to move forward if they haven't exactly felt like they are receiving that encouragement. Sometimes people need a cheerleader, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. But just make sure that you cheer them on only when it's appropriate. So if they have a certain number of clients that they need to talk to, if they've gotten up that morning and they were able to get that workout done like they said that they were going to, if they had a certain number of anything that they had to take care of and they managed to get it done, then make sure you congratulate them. And then, of course, when they don't, and you feel like that you could require that they may require some guidance or some other support, then help where you can whenever necessary. Last and most certainly not least, recommit to the why. This is important because your why is your reasoning for doing anything, just about anything there is. If you're pursuing a healthier body, you're looking to drop a few pounds, eat better, it could be for the sake of living longer for your children, or just feeling better, feeling good about yourself when you take off your clothes, or not feeling so sluggish when you wake up. If it's for a better job, for a better position, maybe your work ethic is going to be the reason why you get that position, get that promotion, so that way you can maybe give your children a better future, put them in better schools, move to a better neighborhood. If your why is your children, maybe you want to provide for them the better future, the things that you never had. And if you're married, maybe you're going to be committing your spouse is your why, on account of the fact that maybe you want to be able to provide for your spouse in such a way that shows that you care about their future, about you guys' future. So keep those things in mind. I want to thank you if you made it to the end of this video. Before you leave, feel free to hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. And please do me a huge favor, because I want to share this with as many people as I possibly can, because this may provide value to some people. Feel free to share this on wherever it is that you are on social media. If you happen to be watching this on Facebook, there's the follow button. Make sure you follow and share. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can still share to Facebook, but feel free to spread the message as much as possible. Thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.